Listen, man, listen. Carmelo Anthony is in the news for the wrong reasons. And it stems from the Carmelo Anthony podcast. First of all, excuse me for my voice. I am a little bit down the weather today. But Melo put out this clip. Oops, my bad. Melo put out this clip yesterday called Melo Shares His True Feelings About the Number 15 in Denver. For those who haven't put two and two together, Nikola Jokic wears the exact same number as Carmelo Anthony. And Carmelo Anthony shares how he feels about it. So let's get straight into it.
Dog, let's be real.
What's
like,
that?
Statistically speaking, like you said, impact speaking, culturally speaking, community speaking.
Yeah.
Fam, come on.
It's
You
not a
something.
comparison. It's like, it's just, I know it. I mean,
You know what I mean? Like, it's obvious that your jersey should be retired in Denver. That's obvious, B.
They should do it. I don't know. I don't really put no pressure on it, though, but they should do it.
Keep it a buck.
Because it's we created something. We created
that team
something.
Before the powder blue jerseys, the Nuggets
We're bland.
were bland, bro. Like, they were like the we don't
let you do that to
We don't
let you do that. We don't let you do that. We gonna hold them down. We gonna hold them down.
So, yo,
I'm going to keep it a bean. When we talk about the whitest cities in the NBA, and I'll give Melo this credit. It always goes Boston and Utah. But because of Melo, somehow Denver, Colorado it's just not in that conversation anymore. I will give Melo that. I ain't gonna lie. He did remove a stigma for a minute when it came to the city of Denver fucking Colorado. Acting like it's not a white ass city. But hey, I feel it. Just for that alone, I ain't gonna lie. That might be enough. That might be enough. Another one, Oklahoma City. Come on, man. Nah, let me chill. Let's keep going.
listen, man, like, people, numbers switch all the time, but I know you had to feel a way. Look me in my eyes. You had to feel a way when they gave Jokic that 15, bro, because that's Melo. Did you feel a way when you see my man go out there? I play basket, number 15. I am number 15.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Because
like, the fuck? Did you think it was a petty maneuver?
Yeah, it was a petty maneuver. It wasn't like, oh, we got numbers to choose from. It was like, here,
take this one.
You got 15. Like,
ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so they got rid of one and they banked on, but they both was good though.
Yeah.
And at the time, Nurkic was considered better than Jokic at that time, right? So everybody was like, why you get rid of Nurkic? Why you keep Jokic?
But before we keep going, is that how jersey selections work? And I would just hope Melo is not lying. But I always thought whenever you sign to a team, whenever they trade for you, whenever they draft you, you get to select your jersey out of a pool of numbers that are available. And then essentially they have to approve if you can have that jersey number, excuse me. So for example, if you get drafted by the Celtics and you try to get number 6, you're cooked. Not happening. If you go to the Lakers and you try to pick 24, you're cooked. It's not happening. Why? Because it's a retired number. But let's say you come back and pick, 35 for the Celtics, and it's not a retired number. Okay, you got the green light. So with Jokic, I just want to clarify, was this a case of, we got Jokic, we're just going to give him the number 15? Or did Jokic ask for 15, Denver said, cool, and then they move on?
Jokic.
I always want to know.
And then he became, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The investment started to pay off, right?
And now it's like
15. Now I'm gone now. So now I'm 7 now. Like 7 is the new thing. I'm in the Mecca. I'm back.
That's it. It's God number.
It's a God's number. So I'm not even thinking about 15. I'm just thinking this is a chapter of my life. Boom, it's a I love this chapter. That's 15 chapter. Now I got to move on. But now I'm coming back to play. But remember, it was lockout year, so you didn't really see no games. It wasn't no games the next year. So I didn't get to Denver. I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't go to Denver for about 2 years after that, 2 seasons, because of lockout and the scheduling and
all that crazy shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing Denver 15. I'm like, fuck is going on? Like
Big Euro ass motherfucker.
15. So now just start thinking, oh, this is because this is the narrative that they put out there. He wanted to leave. He wanted to do this. He wasn't. Nah, but why would you disrespect by even offering that? Like the disrespect and you offering that showed me that you just wanted to erase everything that came prior to
That's crazy.
that right there. Right? So, yeah, fuck y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you saying fuck me, dead smack to the rest of the world.
All right, fuck y'all too.
Cool. I ain't ever say nothing bad about y'all. Y'all boo me. I never spoke bad about y'all. I never
booed y'all in the post game.
Yeah, you booed me and I had 40. You booed me, I had 50. You still booed me after a 50-point game. It's like,
what's the science?
what is the science? Y'all don't even know why y'all booing. Y'all booing because y'all think it's a disgruntled athlete that don't want to be here, spoiled athlete. So y'all booing because of that based off what somebody is writing in the paper. Because it was a paper.
Yeah.
This actually might be more interesting right here because a lot of the discussion around this clip right here is because Carmelo was disgruntled. So they had the right to be petty about being petty. So, hey, Melo, speak your truth. Speak your truth. Were you actually disgruntled?
You know what I'm saying? You writing newspaper articles then. So you running with that. And then you see me and George ain't on the same page. You get all of this. So now you start to pick a side. And y'all put Jokic in the middle of that. He don't know what the fuck
He
going
don't
on.
even care.
Or he could have been like, I want to wear 15 because of, he could have been like, 15 is here. I can wear 15. Oh, that's Melo's number. You know what I mean? Like just pay homage. I don't know. He could have worn because he wanted to pay homage.
Right.
But what I believe is that they gave him 15 to try to erase
what you did,
what I
your
did.
accomplishments over there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Cause
And that's the miss. And that's the miss. So like I said earlier, and I think Melo just confirmed it, typically it is a case of new player comes in, they ask for a number, the team approves it. But Melo is taking the leap that the Nuggets wanted to be so petty that the second round draft pick who was drafted, let me double check. They had so much faith in this second round draft pick who was drafted 11th in the second round, 41st overall, that they said, yo, you can have 15 because you're the chosen one. They had so much faith in this. They had so much faith in this guy that they thought, yeah, man, Melo's gone. He's the one that's about to ruin Melo's name in Denver. Like, come on, what are we doing? What are we doing? Let's keep going because I do have a decent amount of things to say about this topic, but let's just see what else Melo has to say.
Because now it's like they want you to play that game. When you think of 15 in Denver, now to this generation, you thinking
it's Joker.
100%.
And
there's nothing towards that. It's just, it was 2 different generations.
Yeah, y'all wasn't there.
Right? So that just goes to show me that y'all not past that moment.
Yeah, still holding on to that shit.
This is old. This is 2010. This is 13 years ago. So if y'all are holding on to something that was 13 years ago without anybody having knowledge and understanding of what transpired. So shouts out to Jokic on 15.
Yo, the Nuggets front office about
Nuggets, you know what I mean? It ain't the same front office today though. You know what I'm saying? So you can't knock them. You know what I'm saying? But it was very community oriented and supported when the 15 was given.
GM about to call you and start rapping a throwback verse and shit.
Try to stay strong.
I mean, that's pretty much the clip. That's pretty much the clip. Unless there's more though. But truth be told, I do think this is a situation of two things can be true at once. Number one, were the Denver Nuggets being petty? And number two, Melo's bugging. All right. two things can be true. Because I think this is a situation of, yeah, the Denver Nuggets were being petty by leaving that number available for a player that, has done a lot for their franchise. But my thing is, there is a precedence amongst the league of, if you left on bad terms, it's fuck you. If you left on bad terms, yeah, we are going to allow another player to come in and choose their number. Like, that is a precedent. Number one, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant left in 2016, and shortly after, I'm forgetting who exactly it was, but I vividly remember someone wearing the number 35 shortly after Kevin Durant left the franchise. Let's actually go down memory lane over here. So this was KD's last season in 2017. Did someone wear 35? Nope. 2018, did someone wear 35? Right here, PJ Dozier wore 35 after Kevin Durant left. Another one that comes to mind for me is Ray Allen. Actually, in two cases for Ray Allen. One definitely more applicable to this scenario than the other. Ray Allen wore number 20 for the Boston Celtics. And I want to say shortly after, but Gordon Hayward wore 20 when he came to the Celtics. I'm trying to see if someone else wore 20 after him. But, yeah, I vividly remember Gordon Hayward wearing 20 for the Boston Celtics. And Rondo, I guess he left on bad terms, but Rondo's number 9, I guess, and what he did for the franchise wasn't enough for them to, have an unspoken rule about picking number 9, because hella motherfuckers have worn number 9 ever since Rondo left. Brad Wanamaker, and more recently, Derek White. Derek White wears number 9 for this team. And Kyrie, number 11. I know he didn't do much, but Peyton Pritchard's wearing number 11 for the Celtics. And with Ray Allen as well, people forget, Ray Allen was the original 34 in Milwaukee. I don't think he left on bad terms, but still, we're talking about a dude who played 6.5 seasons for the Milwaukee Bucks, was a face of their franchise, brought a level of culture that franchise was missing. He was their chosen one. That's Jesus Shuttlesworth. Led them to an Eastern Conference Finals, similar to Melo, leading the Denver Nuggets to the Western Conference Finals. But here we are, X amount of years later, and they draft Giannis, gave him 34 out the gate, and the rest was history. Another player that left on relatively bad terms, that did a lot for their franchise, is Dwight Howard, right? Dwight Howard, I would argue, definitely did more for his franchise than Carmelo Anthony. Was just a better player at his peak than Carmelo Anthony, in my opinion. This is a guy who played for the Orlando Magic and was drafted by them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So literally around the same, maybe within the season of how much Melo played. But yeah, played 8 seasons for the Magic. Got them to the NBA Finals, not just the Eastern Conference Finals. Yet literally the season after he left, the number 12 went straight to Tobias Harris. Oh, my bad. It went straight to Tobias Harris right here, number 12. So what I'm seeing is that there definitely is a precedent of, if you did a lot for your franchise in the first 8 years, but you left on bad terms, is fuck you. There is that precedent. But every single franchise is the same. But ironically, this is something that I see a lot. I don't know, with Ray Allen, with KD, with Dwight Howard, that's 3 main examples. I would like to see more examples of players who left on bad terms. And if this was the case, let's look at Vince Carter. Last example, Vince Carter. Vince Carter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5. Say 6.25 years for Toronto. Definitely a guy who is credited for changing the culture in Toronto, very similar to Carmelo Anthony. Definitely a guy who left on bad terms. Wore number 15 for Toronto. Did someone else wear number 15 for Toronto after the fact? Let's see. One might say, fuck around and find out. Let's see. 06. 07. Wait. I might have just seen it. Right here. Boom. Jorge Garbajosa wears number 15 for the Toronto Raptors 2 to 3 seasons after Vince Carter leaves. So what I'm seeing is, I ain't gonna lie, these NBA franchises are just petty. If it's fuck you, it's fuck you for real. I do think this is a case of 2 things can be true at once, because the Denver Nuggets were being petty, in my opinion. They were being petty, giving the opportunity for people to take number 15 in Denver. Because for those who don't know, Jokic actually was not even the first one to take 15 in Denver. Anthony Randolph wore number 15 for the Denver Nuggets in 2012, 2013, and 2013 for 2014. As you can see right here. Right? So, yeah, I mean, it didn't take them a long time for, people, for other players to take 15, because they didn't deem it as, a retired number. I think where Melo went wrong, though, is picking Jokic. Not picking Jokic, but making an example out of Jokic. I think Melo went wrong by emphasizing Jokic in this discussion, because he could have just left it as, if he just left it at, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, no one should have worn number 15 after I left. Cool. But the extension of, I think Denver was so petty that they gave 15 to the second round pick, 41st overall pick, to ruin my legacy. When you know how much you did for that franchise and how much a second round draft pick would need to do to overtake you, is crazy. Like, that's crazy. No one saw Nikola Jokic, again, a second round draft pick who wasn't even televised when he got drafted, to have a comparable legacy to a Carmelo Anthony, let alone lap it with 2 MVPs to 0, with 1 Finals MVP to 0, and especially 1 championship compared to 0. No one expected that. And he's just getting started, to be honest with you. He's still just 28, 29. He's still got a bunch of years left in him. No one expected that. So, if there's anyone that put Jokic in between all of this, it is actually Carmelo. It is actually Carmelo Anthony. But the question the NBA community is having today is, did Carmelo Anthony do enough to have his jersey retired before his career was over? right? Carmelo Anthony is making the case that post 2011, really, he did so much for that franchise that no one should wear that jersey moving forward. So that brings us to, what did Melo actually do in Denver for him to say that? And I guess this is just the theme of 2024. But I'm sorry, there's just levels to this. There is. I think out of the names that I mentioned, I'm going to keep it a stack. Really only one player deserved to not have deserved for his jersey to not be worn that soon, that quick, that fast, and arguably never again. And that is Kevin Durant. He won an MVP for that franchise. He is the guy that they drafted. He did take them to the finals. He did lead them to multiple 55-plus win seasons. But on the contrary, though, he left on like the worst note. You know what I'm saying? Like he left on arguably the worst note out of all the guys I named too. But regardless, and even out of those names, Ray Allen, Dwight Howard, Ediso's in the building. Now that I'm listening to this, Dwight Howard might be in the KD discussion. I don't know, man. That motherfucker did a lot. yo, Dwight did a lot for Orlando. I don't know. Who else did I name? Ray Allen, Dwight Howard, Vince Carter. I'm sorry, but Carmelo Anthony included, I don't think y'all did enough for no one to just wear your jersey for the rest of your career. Up to that point, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because let's be realistic with Carmelo Anthony. Great player. Not taking that away from him. In his prime, a top 5 caliber player, top 10 caliber player, All-NBA first team caliber player, yes. But this is a guy who maxed out in MVP voting at 6th, I believe. This is a guy who peaked at a Western Conference Finals appearance. And lost. I think he lost in 6. And he left on bad terms. But even if we take the bad terms tax out of it, if the discussion is, did you do enough in this time span of your career, in the first X amount of years in your career, for the rest of your career, no one can just wear your jersey? I don't think you really never being an MVP caliber player and peaking at a Western Conference Finals and getting bounced out in the first round in every single other year is enough for your jersey to not be worn for the rest of your career. Now, can we look back and say, yo, when it's all said and done, this guy did a lot for the franchise under different ownership, and say, okay, boom, let's retire his jersey now? Yes. But in the moment, you haven't done enough. You haven't done enough. And I think Denver is in a very interesting scenario where the guy, and this hasn't happened for all the other guys, the only reason this is really a discussion is because the guy who took the number ended up being a guy who superseded the first dude. Like, Jokic being the player that he is such a 0.1% scenario that this is a discussion. That's the only reason this is a discussion, you know? But yeah, I just don't think he did enough. And that's fine. Do I think in retrospect they should retire Melo's number? I'm even that I'm iffy on. Man. Because on one hand, like I said, in retrospect, did he actually do did he lead this team to multiple 60-win seasons, multiple top seeds in the Western Conference? The answer to that is no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's just go down memory lane, right? This is Melo's rookie season. They were a bottom playoff team. 05, they were a 7th seed. 06, they were a 7th seed. 07, they were a 6th seed. 08, they were a 8th seed. 09, I'll give them 09, 2 seed right there. 2010, 4 seed. 2011, back down to a 5 seed. So we're looking at a peak of a 2 seed. The next peak is a 4 seed, and that's for really 2 seasons. And everything after that is 5 seed and under. But I do think the jersey retirement conversation is different for different franchises. I do think a franchise like the Lakers and the Celtics, and I would say like the Warriors or something, they have higher standards for what it takes to have a jersey retired. But for the Denver Nuggets, I think that standard is much lower. So for the Nuggets, in retrospect, under different ownership who doesn't have that pettiness to them in that Melo era anymore, at least I would hope so, I think he does have a stronger case for his jersey to be retired. But if the conversation is, again, just leading 2011 and on, did Melo do enough for that franchise for his jersey to just be outright, unspokenly retired? I don't think he did. I don't think he did, man. But shout out to Melo, though. Shout out to Melo.